semis.
Yeah, for sure. I think we've seen you multiple times on the Toxic, waiting around in the smokes. Is that your favorite operator then, to play Toxic? Because I think we've seen other players switch between D-Wolf and Toxic, but mainly you're just a Toxic main.
Actually, I'm the medic guy main normally, but we felt like we need some difference in the team combination to have for every situation the right operator, you know. So I switched to Toxic for the matches. So like today, Fettbauch changed to Luna. So we think Luna has a lot of impact to the team. So we changed some tactics for the final rounds.
I mean, it seems to have worked. It was a lot of cohesive pushes for your group, right? In that last match in the shafts. Was that communicated beforehand, or was it just everybody kind of just knows what's going on, right? Everyone's like, okay, we're going for this push. You're seeing that.
Yes. I think that what happened is just the way you have to play this match. The maps we played, like you have to push on the riverside on trench line. You have to push in the middle on shafted and something. You know. It's like that's how the game has to be played, and that worked very well for us. So,
I mean, that's awesome that everyone's in each other's heads there. Like they know exactly what needs to be done going forward. Are you confident then that your team and your group's going to do well in these next couple of matches?
Yeah, I think we will win the next 2 rounds, and I think our team will be part of the top positions when we keep playing like that. So I'm happy. So let's see what's going on next.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you? I'm hoping that you're going to be dishing out the damage as well as you have been over these last few matches. Is there anything you wanted to say? If you would give a shout out to anyone that's been supporting you, or your friends, family, any teammates, stuff like that.
Yes, I want to say a thank you to my friends who are watching the stream right now. I sent all the links out, doing some. Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you for the interview. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much for joining us. That was really good to catch up with Mary Chain. It's really cool to see that sort of move from the first day of Warfare, and now everybody seems to have taken this a lot more seriously. And you heard from him, like, the idea of just all going at the same time. That's just innate, it seems, at this level of gameplay. Let's take a look at some of the stats from that last match.
So there's some crazy stuff going through here from Full Safe. Q-Pitch been able to get 29 kills alongside with Canyon, Crazer, and Landgrab, and it's feeling more and more likely that Full Safe will be our top team by the end of this. I think in terms of cohesion, they definitely have it. There are some other teams here that have particularly strong players. I mean, we got to see a lot of Mapapa, we got to see a lot of Sushi, but when it comes to Full Safe, they definitely just have that X factor coming through. We saw Q-Pitch lighting up the kill feed a lot of times, but it wasn't even him with the most amount of kills. It was Canyon.
Absolutely, able to get 34 there, but those reses coming through in clutch for Q-Pitch to be able to get that value on. Although it has to be said, being the highest scoring team there, only maxing out at, what was that, 15k on a player, something around that, or 14k, which actually wasn't the record for any team, by the way. It was just the fact that they were combined all fairly high up. That was Quo Potty at the top of the tables there. But in general, a lower value match from that first time around. There's fewer sectors, and the match was quite quick because of the pace at which the attack was able to succeed. So a little bit less point scoring opportunity there on the attack for Group B.
Yeah, I think that was the difficulty, right? I mean, it doesn't really matter too much for both sides because they're roughly getting the same amount of points or scoring the most. I think that Mary Chain said it best, that, look, pretty sure that his group is a little bit stronger over on Group B, and I have to agree with them. They do have that little bit of a tactical edge. Best kills from that match did come through from Turbo Supercharge, who has been up towards the top of the kills quite a few times, but it wasn't Sushi with the most kills on Spectre. It was actually FPS Sartek, who did really, really well for them.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 players standing out for the squad. Here are the assists coming on through, and you can see just a lot of teamwork coming through over towards the top of the tables. 87 assists and 77 as well, both on that same team, leading from the front. Very good stuff to be able to get towards the top. The Rats and the Rats in 3rd and 4th place. Those are 2 different teams, though. One S, one Z.
Yeah, 2 different teams. Definitely, you gotta say it that way, because they certainly have a bit of a rivalry going on at the moment. But overall, really, really fun to watch these teams duke it out. Versus, once again, having that little standoff between him and Krazer. 21 rescues to his 27. We have seen multiple times Versus just more or less playing that rescuer approach. Whilst I would say Krazer had a little bit more impact when it came to the killing side of things.
Well, that was the second match. We see we are going to be flipping the sides, flipping the map back to trenches. We'll see you guys after the break.
admit defeat, rookie. Give it to me.
What? How do you think about it? You don't know what you're doing. Give it back.
How dare you look down on me! Give it to me!
Looks like it's my turn.
Welcome back. Group B are on a tear here at the Delta Force Community Tournament for Europe's Grand Finals, as we have seen them now win 2 maps in a row, both on the trench lines and on Shafted. Of course, they will now have to take the attacking role on these trench lines in the upcoming game, but so far it seems like they have it under control. They know what they're doing, they're being cohesive, and they're making it work.
Yeah, I think for Group B, there's definitely that aspect of just cohesion, like you say. They work well together. Apparently no one's typing in chat what to do and where to go. They just know what needs to be done, and that's nice to see. So perhaps that gets into the heads a little bit of Group A, where they know what needs to be done going forward and how they'll play it out. Though there was some slight strats been revealed there, pushing down the riverside. We'll see just how well Group B is able to pull that off. Here are our stats on the overall standings. Polster Garom currently with 150k points, followed closely behind by Rage Mode Esports and Meteor Mimas. Full Safe did drop down towards 4th place, and it will be Spectres in 6th.
Top 3 positions all in Group B. Full Safe and Papegas, the only teams on Group A to feature on that front side of the page. Into the money, so we'll see if they're able to hold on to that or potentially excel themselves further up the tables. At the moment, it's kind of only one team who isn't really up there with the rest of them, and I think the least said about that, the better. Everybody else still definitely in with an opportunity to try and join them up towards the top of the tables. With 156k on the table, there is a definitely conquerable difference between them and even 13th place.
Yeah, it really depends on the amount of points you're able to accrue, right, during all of this, and how many points you're able to get during these matches, because it is somewhat limited at times, around 16k, and it will require Polska Garom to have a little bit of an unfortunate turn of events here on this next map, and I just don't see that really happening because they have been very consistent throughout. But you can see here it has been Group B dominating towards the top, with all 3 teams in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place being from Group B.
Absolutely, a dominant performance so far. They have had control. They will look to continue that control. Over to the trench lines, you can see that Group B will be attacking. After that, they will take their turn defending on Shafted. So we'll see if they're able to keep that one under control faster and better than Group A were able to go for. So we'll have to wait and see just what they're able to pull on out. Trench lines, in general, is quite a nice little tour of all different styles of gameplay that you'll see in the Warfare game mode. So we'll see if Group B are able to just stop that entirely dead in its tracks, maybe even on Alpha, which I think might be a little bit tricky, but those trenches could certainly be the terminus for Group A.
Yeah, so you start to get those vehicle drops in and the strategic beacons. It's only a matter of time because you start using artillery barrages. If it starts to get a little bit longer with it being only 1 point, that can be fairly beneficial for your team. I will be curious to see how Bravo 1 and Bravo 2 goes, because like you say, those are difficult positions in the trenches themselves. As we heard from some of our players the other day, they like the trenches because the trenches are good.
I mean, it's the trenches. What's not to like, right? You're just running around, going through these narrow alleyways, turning corners, trying to ping your way down, slide on through it, getting slick with the mud, slick with the blood as well, because it is really close quarters combat involved in those trenches. You cannot miss a beat, otherwise you're going down.
You are. Sliding through blood apparently as well, which is a bit of a...
That's right. It's pretty gruesome.
Morbid analogy, but okay. But yeah, it should get pretty interesting, pretty fun here. Obviously, we saw that Delta 1, Delta 2 was just impassable for the Group A. This time around it'll be Group B attacking, seeing what they can get done here, see if they'll employ some different strategies. Be very curious to see how they do end up taking Delta 1 and Delta 2, because that felt like more of a blip for Group A than anything. I think they expected just to fly through that point and then send over towards Echo, but it never came to pass. The call to move back over towards Delta 1, definitely one of the turning points in that game, alongside with Mapapa's great hold there on Shafted. So again, that was more of a team play than anything, and it feels like that's where Trench Lines really does come alive, is in terms of the team's rotations in that mid game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely necessary to keep up the pace, and it is all about momentum in terms of getting control of that second sector on the map, and in general on every single sector. 2-point sector. There we go. Too many sectors in that one. But either way, you do need to make sure that you're not just rotating around as an attacker, because that only benefits the defense. You're just chipping away at those reinforcements. So keeping the pace up for the attacking side, definitely necessary. If you can take both sites at the same time, I mean, that's the objective, right? Then you will be moving on to the next section. And a solo assault onto a single area is often a lot more easy to coordinate, especially among 7 teams on your entire side, right? Everybody is much more focused in that scenario.
Absolutely. I felt like the tank play was a little bit more diminished over on trench lines last time around. And I think that's just because players in these groups, at least, are a little bit more efficient at taking down those vehicles. So although the tank has a place, it's not going to have a place forever in these matches. Oftentimes they will be taken out by a Viren with the magnetic bombs, but we'll get to see just that because the game is now ready and we'll be jumping back into trench lines once again for the final time today.
Group B on the offensive now, trying to get rid of that Group A hold. We'll see what they can find. Look at the flank coming through along that riverbed. They're moving up to the sidelines, not going straight up to the corner that we saw that Group A went for. Instead, they're taking control on the edges. If they can get this area, they can light up those sidelines, find those openings towards the main bulk of players in the center of Alpha.
Yeah, not all pushing over towards this barricaded wall. Instead, opting to take a sideline presence, which seems to be going very well so far in terms of the kill feed lighting up in the favor of the attacking side.
Making a lot of headway along that riverbank and doing a lot of work to suppress the corners here. Alpha already breached, and this is a fast approach for Group B. On towards this first point. Spray downs into the river. Need to be a little bit careful there, but Sushi's not going to let that one slip. Now suppressing fire over towards Alpha, keeping them in their corner, doing a bit of damage, tickling away, and already this corner is completely under control. The defense looking to try and remount here. They do manage to step forwards into this, but the center now is gone, and the attackers have control of the site entirely. V7X7 trying to hop on over, trying to get on in, but Alpha is falling, and it's falling fast.
Yeah, again, likely we'll be heading back up towards that 400 reinforcement count after this goes through. The defenders are definitely trying to get back in, but with the amount of attackers on this point, you really do think it's only a matter of time before Sector A goes in the favor of Group B. It's Mr. Bunny with a 5K on the tank. Mate, that a 7.
Eliminate remaining enemy force.
This time around on the attack, getting to be able to play in towards those back lines, just find these shots, force the line back for the defense, and it's really working wonders for them. We'll see if that's able to continue here into the trenches as they're moving on in. The regroup needs to come through, but it is still the attackers just farming these points. Goodness me.